Hello once again everybody, I'm Jake Lucci and welcome to my video coaching newsletter. The title of today's video coaching newsletter is The Rope Mentality. I have a quote I wrote on this topic and I'm going to give you guys a few thoughts on something that actually happened to me the other day that actually pertains to today's subject. So the quote says, "People oftentimes prioritize the journey over the destination. While there are a multitude of ways to reach your target goals, focusing on your daily, weekly, and monthly tasks will serve as the ultimate driving force to help you stay focused through adversity-filled moments in time. It is not who we are during the good times that define us, but rather how we respond and push through the days of adversity, misfortune, and hardship that ultimately determine our destination. When we're feeling tired, run down, and out of sync, we tend to feel sorry for ourselves. That sorrow doesn't just happen externally. In fact, it typically begins internally. It typically begins in here. While many people will voice their displeasure to others, the majority of us internalize the excuses first and the reasons why we don't have what we want. The rope mentality is defined by your ability to keep climbing the rope one hand at a time. There are no shortcuts when your entire physical being is contingent on the strength of your grip, and you will not move closer to your goals unless you put one hand over the other and keep climbing. There are only three choices when you have engaged with climbing the rope of life. 1, you can keep going. 2, you can stop. Or 3, you can let go. Most people, when faced with adversity, choose to stop or drastically slow their pace. When you slow your momentum and choose not to continue putting one hand over the other, things actually tend to become more difficult. This is not to say it's not okay to rest, but when you do rest, don't rest too long. If you stop, gravity will take over and you'll eventually be forced to let go. The best option, whether you're climbing an actual rope or engaged in the never-ending climb of life, is to keep going. You must keep going and continue to put one hand over the other. Keep your destination in mind, but do not look up too often, or else the journey will seem too daunting and you might give up. One hand over the other, one day at a time, and reaching your ultimate destiny will arrive soon thereafter." Well, this applies to my life because the other day when I was training, I was absolutely getting my ass kicked. And I will say that, and I will be honest with you, if you are not working with a trainer or someone that is consistently pushing you, not someone that's overdoing it, but someone that is consistently pushing you to that point, then there's no way that you're going to be able to deal with adversity because you haven't had the practice in doing so. So when I was training the other day, we literally were pulling on ropes. We were pulling on ropes that were attached to this 4-wheeled platform that had a bunch of 45-pound weights stacked on it. And I'm pulling and I'm pulling and I'm pulling. Needless to say, it got pretty difficult. And I thought it was a good analogy because I was kind of watching my mindset. I was kind of watching, okay, like I know that this is obviously very difficult. My trainer is used to pushing me in the right direction and pushing me to that level. But how can I make it mentally to where I know that this is what I need to do, and therefore mentally how can I accomplish this task and force my physical body to do what I need it to do? And what I noticed was every time I looked at that platform, every time I looked up to see how far this thing was as I'm pulling, I got weaker. I almost like was looking at the destination and not really focused on one hand over the other. And so then what I had to do was I had to divert my attention. I literally had to no longer look at that platform. I had to stay focused on hand over hand. And I literally had to not look at it. I had to make my eyes come down, and I just had to focus on literally watching my hands go hand over hand, 1 second and one grip at a time. Now, people may be looking at this and you may hear this and you're like, well, obviously, man, like if you're looking at it and it's 40 feet away, it's going to be pretty difficult for you to accomplish that goal and not get to a point where you're feeling a little bit down about yourself. I was feeling more than down. I was looking at this platform like, there's no way I can do this. Like I was thinking that in my mind, but then I snapped back into it. And that's what I said in the quote is typically these doubts will start internally. And even though people are not externally showing you that, you know, they don't have the confidence to do what they need to do to accomplish their target goals, it always, I don't want to say always, but it typically starts inside. It's typically something that you're telling yourself internally as to why you can't get this task done. So as I averted my eyes down, what I noticed was I was able to actually move faster. I was able to just focus on that task. And what I liken these grips to is it's just one day, right? It's one day after another day, after another day, after another day. And the reason that people fall off or the reason that people stop is because they're oftentimes either not focused on the destination at all, or they're focused on the platform and seeing that destination and realizing how far it is away, how little of a chance you have of accomplishing it. You start to hear other people in your mind and you start to hear other people externally that affects the internal. If there is no enemy on the inside, then the enemy on the outside can do us no harm. Focusing on what's going on internally is much more important than what happens on the external part. It's much more important than what happens around you, and it's much more important than your ultimate goal. A lot of times we try to get to that ultimate goal, and the way that we do it is by solely focusing on that goal. You have to be focused on your ultimate goals, don't get me wrong, but the reason that people most of the time don't accomplish those goals is because they see how much work it's going to take to accomplish that end goal, and what happens is they stop. They start to slow down, they lose momentum, and then they forget what actually is going to be the thing that gets them there, and it's one foot in front of the other. It's much easier to say than it is to do. Now, ultimately, what happened in the training is I was able to complete the task in the time allotted. It continued to get more difficult, but I continued to stay focused on one hand over the other. Regardless of what you're struggling with, you can get to where your ultimate goals are, and your goals are going to be different than mine, and yours are going to be different than your friends. Be okay with the fact that you're going to struggle a little bit. In fact, you're going to struggle a lot. There is no one that says that they reached their ultimate goals and they had no adversity. Adversity is part of the deal. Be okay with adversity. Once I started liking it, once I started saying, oh, okay, I see what the universe is bringing me here, and I'm going to step up, I'm going to level up, right? And that's what you have to do. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Now, again, it is not an end-all, be-all. You have to be struggling every single day, and you're not going to be able to do anything unless you're just struggling. I'm okay with the struggle because I do what I love. I do what I love to do. Not everyone is going to have a job where they can do what they love to do. But when you are doing something that you enjoy, it makes that struggle a little bit less stressful. It makes you have the ability to sit there, to look at a given day, to look at a given week, and to look at a given month, and to say, I know where eventually that I want to go. I know what my target goals are, but I know the only way that I'm going to accomplish those goals is to continue to make the most of each and every day. So don't overcomplicate this, oversimplify it. Make sure that you have a +1 day each and every day, and you line those up over the course of a long period of time. Your goal and your destination will ultimately, boom, it'll come hit you right in the face, and you'll look up and you'll say, I accomplished what I want to accomplish. But now, if you've made it this far in this video, here's the key. When you do accomplish those goals that you have ultimately set out to accomplish, what do you do next? What do you do next? Do you just say, I accomplished it, now I'm going to go sit on the beach for the rest of my life? Or do you continue pushing yourself in the right direction and obviously doing it with a mindset of, I'm going to be as healthy as I possibly can. I want to have the energy to do what I want to do. And in order to have those things, in order to level up, I understand that I'm going to experience adversity. And eventually when I do reach my goals, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue to push forward. I'm going to continue to make those around me better. And if you have this mindset, I think that you'll be extremely surprised at how quickly you can actually achieve your goals. Don't overcomplicate this. Just take that rope, boom, 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 one hand in front of the other, and making sure that the 24 hours that you have in the day, that you're putting those hours into the right places. If you want more videos like this, I have a ton of great video newsletters on our LPG YouTube channel. That's Lucci Prospect Group. If you just type in LUCE Prospect Group YouTube, our YouTube channel will come up. We have hundreds of videos where I talk about stuff like this, and it's not just about the college recruiting side, it's also about life stuff like this. I've been getting a lot of requests from people asking, can you just talk about how you were able to accomplish what you've accomplished? And so I'm listening to you, I'm listening to the audience, so please smash the like button, okay? Don't just watch it and just not do anything with it. Smash the like button, share the video with your friends. It's important to me that we get this out. But what I've heard from our audience is that they want me to keep doing stuff like this. They want to feel like someone understands what they're going through. And while I don't have all the answers, I do know what it's like to be able to push through so much adversity and ultimately at the end of the day come out on top. I still have a lot more that I want to accomplish, but if you've made it this far into this video, it's because you're dedicated to making yourself the best possible version that you can. Everyone that continues to support what I do and support what we do at Lucci Prospect Group, it is a huge deal to me. I'm so grateful and I'm so thankful. I hope that you were able to get a nugget or two out of this video, and I thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.